Yes.
Okay.
Good evening and welcome to the Standards of Geekness podcast page. I am your host, Evan Jones, 1/3 of the team here.
Well, I'll be damned.
I am the lethal Nugget, Daniel Roberts.
You know,
I'm gonna give him a gold star for
I'm
that.
giving him a gold star for that. That is wow.
Dan, you're in the positive now.
I thought I might as well since
Dude,
Yeah.
that is golden. Like golden delicious
Like the
fried.
showers you like.
I mean, they do look tasty, these nuggets. Yum, 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 yum.
Yeah, and enjoy that pasted meat. Like gooey meat.
Good evening, everybody. I am Brian Mercer, and you are watching the Standards of the Geekness podcast. A lot to talk about tonight after a wild weekend. That's probably changed a lot of what's going to be coming towards SummerSlam heading forward. How was your guys' weekend?
It was pretty good. Got to hang out around went to Friday Night Magic Friday after a nice 3-day weekend and went and saw Superman. And spent time with my family, so it was great.
Yeah, my weekend was pretty good. Obviously, I did have to do my shift at McDonald's and had to cook these the entire day. But then also Sunday I saw, like you did, Evan Superman, which honestly, if anyone considering whether to watch it or not, please go and see it. It is worth it, and I promise you, it is the best, or like $15-$20 you will ever spend in your life.
You know, I'm actually, I haven't seen it yet. I really want to see it, and
we've been really avoiding spoilers to not really like.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. I've asked like 3 different people if they want to go with me. Everyone's like, no, so I don't know. I might just end up going by myself after work tomorrow.
Hey, I totally can understand that. It's very good. There's points where it'll make you feel, and it's very poignant and relevant to today's political and sociological environment. So you'll get a lot of the nods. James Gunn did an amazing job.
You know, that might be true, but I'm just going to say this right now, even without seeing the movie. I've heard a lot of the arguments about it being woke, and I'm just like, you know what? Truth and justice are the American way, and if you're not down with that, then you didn't understand what Superman was. And as DX says, we got 2 words for you.
Suck
it.
All right, let's jump right in. So, first and foremost, guys, I goofed on the GOAT tournament thing. I completely forgot to get the polls up last week. I've been crazy busy with work, family, and a lot of other things. So I will get those up this week. I know who the 4 are. I will get them launched tonight or tomorrow morning. That way we can get results, keep the tournament rolling. I apologize profusely.
I can't believe Evan, that is terrible. And in the spirit of the podcast, I'm gonna have to dock you a gold star for that.
But I have infinite gold stars.
I know, isn't it awesome?
You know, when you make the fucking rules. But I earned a do fucking better. Anyways, let's jump right in. We had a lot of wrestling action this weekend. Let's jump into a Saturday main event. I gotta say, this show, calling it mid would be pretty fucking generous, honestly, in my opinion. There's a lot that happened. We had our predictions tournament, predictions results as well. We decided to combine both shows into one prediction score.
And then halfway through, WWE just ripped up the card and threw it all out the window.
Well, one of the matches we thought was on there wasn't on there, and then another one is announced that we didn't know. So Jade defeated Naomi. I believe all was called that.
Wait, are you, that's Evolution. You're starting with Evolution? You're not starting with...
I put that on the wrong card. I apologize, people. I had it in the wrong spot on my notes.
Jeez, Evan too.
Solo defeated Jimmy. It's been a long day. Solo defeated Jimmy to retain the U.S. title. I was a little... Jacob Fatu coming back so quickly is a little irksome, and it makes me feel like they didn't think having him sell for a little longer would be beneficial to this feud. I know they're trying to set up SummerSlam, but maybe if they weren't running so many PLEs, they'd have time to develop proper stories and proper match cards. That's just my feelings.
Yeah. Well, and it was weird too because the timing felt really awkward. Like, if he's gonna come back, how about you come back and save Big Jim some of the ass kicking that he's getting? Like, there was a full Samoan spike, and then there's time for gloating afterwards, and there's more. Like,
yeah,
way longer than it really should have. Like, if you're coming back to save him, save him before the spike, or just after the spike.
Yeah. I don't know. That kind of bothered me. Overall, this whole card kind of bothered me.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment.
Getting dumbass messages. Anyways, Randy Orton defeated Drew McIntyre. I was a little surprised here. I believe Dan and I picked Randy. Brian, you picked Drew for the. No, we picked Drew.
We all picked. No, we all picked.
We all picked.
We all picked Drew on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was the one we all
mentality. Well, the mentality going into it that we all had, and we discussed this last week. I actually went back and watched the last week's show to make sure that I had all the predictions right, because I was keeping the score on day one. I appreciate you helping me on day two because it was getting crazy. Yeah, we all picked Drew with the mentality that Drew really
just came back.
He couldn't really handle the loss right after coming back, and whereas Randy, he's facing world champions and stuff. He's clearly still at the top of the game, and he could handle taking an L to Drew McIntyre. I really think Drew is still in a place where he isn't being appreciated for the star that he really is.
Yeah, he's kind of fallen off a little bit in terms of
how they're presenting him. Ever since he signed his contract, though, he just feels like they don't really have anything for him.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. My problem is they're kind of ham sandwiching him into this celebrity feud with Logan Paul and Jelly Roll and Randy Orton, and I'm just like, I understand why they're doing this match, but like,
I gotta ask, like, who is Jelly Roll? Like, I hear everyone talk about him.
He's like a country. He's like a country R&B artist here in the U.S. I don't know
half country, half rap.
Yeah.
So he reminds me of what's that name? That guy who did the "I'm Only Human" song. He looks like him. I thought it was the same guy, but
here's the thing. Like, it's nothing new to have celebrities of various types be involved in wrestling programs and stuff. Like, there's a part of me that's just getting vibes of like Karl Malone and Dennis Rodman through this. But where I start to have an issue with it is with Logan Paul being involved.
Yeah.
Because, and it's kind of weird here to say this, but like Logan Paul, I'm already having a hard time accepting Logan Paul as a wrestler and not a YouTube influencer. Every time that he comes out, the first thing in my head is like Logan Paul on YouTube. And so I have to like try and change that mentality to think of him as a wrestler to give him any amount of credibility.
Yeah.
And now you got Jelly Roll coming out, right? And as these teams are going to be set up, it's going to be Drew and Logan Paul, the heels, against Randy and Jelly Roll, the baby faces. And what you're really telling me is that Logan Paul, the guy who you've been trying to market as like a legitimate talent and a United States champion and all this, he's really on par with Jelly Roll, who has zero wrestling experience, and doesn't exactly look athletic in any capacity.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he can actually take a bump from what I've seen. Like, it doesn't look great. And if you can't take a back bump, like, and that's one of the first things you know and get taught. If you don't know how to take a back bump, then I understand he's a celebrity, he's a singer, he's not going to be used to wrestling. I get that, but it's like, it's the fundamentals you need to know.
That all being said, at least it sounds like he's going to show up, not like Travis Scott.
By the way, I've been meaning to ask, like, what's happened with that whole situation? Because from what I've been told, apparently, like, he's been removed from WWE.
They removed him from the video game. They removed him from. Basically, he's no longer part of it. So.
What actually happened? Does anyone know, like, what actually happened? Or is it just?
My guess would be a breach of contract. That like we're not really. That's not being talked about. It's being kept hush. To kind of save some face, but.
You know what the reverse of the Midas touch is? It might be the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson touch, because everything that he brought in and turned to shit.
Do you think he might have affected the Whiting team a bit?
It has to affect the writing team when you come in and you start upending storylines that have been planned on, and like. The way that WWE has been writing for the last couple of years has been to put these subtle, hints into where it's all going, so that there's that payoff feels more gratifying. And when the writers are working on doing those things, and then The Rock just comes in, whenever the fuck he feels like it, and starts changing things, well. How are you supposed to plan for that in advance? How are you supposed to make those things pay off and feel worthwhile and justifiable to the viewer's time? They don't.
Yeah. And I do think it's mainly just due to the fact that, like, obviously he was kind of under Vince booking, and also from his dad's booking, where they kind of book like week to month, and it's kind of like whatever's doing well, we need to kind of build upon it and get a cheap pot if we can to try and boost those ratings and bring more people through the turnstiles. I think that's his kind of mentality of like for the here and now rather than a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the line.
Oh yeah, it can't be about his ego if it's 10 years down the line. Moving along, LA Knight defeated Seth Rollins. This I don't think was the original plan. Seth Rollins was injured in the match. Our thoughts go out to Seth. That move where he took a backflip basically onto his knee.
It's the second time that move has injured him.
Yeah, it happened last year, didn't it, against Jinder Mahal, which was not great.
I believe the original injury was against Kane.
Fun fact, Sting has been up in the rafters looking down on him both times he's gotten injured.
Oh.
That's a deep cut for you WCW fans.
We're going to have some more thoughts on this later on in the show, but I don't think this is the original plan. Seth's been seen hobbling around on crutches. My guess is probably re-injured that MCL, ACL. Probably at least.
It's definitely just same knee, isn't it?
4 to 9 months, same knee.
Yeah.
I've got my own opinions on what he needs to do when he comes back. We'll get to that in a minute. And then Gunther defeated Goldberg for the World Heavyweight Championship. We all picked this. It was pretty obvious.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Wait.
Daniel did not.
Yeah, I forgot.
Daniel
Dan picked Seth Rollins to cash in.
I do generally think, in my personal opinion, I could have definitely seen it happening if the injury didn't happen. But obviously, that's kind of a hearsay, she saying.
I even heard a rumor that it was supposed to happen until Seth's injury. Look, man, I'll be honest. I think that was a really cool idea. It was very creative. I liked it. And because it was so creative, you had to know WWE wasn't going to do it.
That's true. Yeah, it is WWE.
Yeah, it was your mistake. That was your fatal flaw in this prediction process. Don't worry,
And,
I made a similar one on Evolution.
Yeah, honestly, like this match wasn't great. Gunther carried him through a lot of it. It's 15 minutes long, longest Bill Goldberg match I think I've ever seen. But I think really to sum up the proper words here, I don't think Brian, myself, or the Nugget could do justice to it. We're gonna allow a friend of the pod.
Well, it's over, and we had to sit through the Bill Goldberg retirement match. That was the lousiest shit I ever saw in my life. I mean, you look at even the entrance. This guy was hobbling his way backstage. It was so embarrassing to watch. This is a guy, it kind of reminded me of Hulk Hogan. He was not able to let the spotlight go. I mean, whatever spotlight Bill Goldberg had in the first place. But this guy, hobbling backstage, he gets down there in the ring. And you can see he can hardly move. He could do absolutely nothing in the ring. And everyone's going, oh, we had a 15-minute match for the first time ever. It was 15 minutes of lousy wrestling. He did absolutely nothing. Gunther carried him the whole time. But thank God it's over. And the only positive thing I could think of is Gunther, didn't get hurt. As long as Bill Goldberg didn't do the super kick, right? We all know how that ends up. But it was the lousiest thing. I think my favorite part, though, is when the speech got cut short after the match. They cut
like
the
Brett's
speech short.
career?
Kind of like how he cut my career short after he kicked me in the head. It cost me millions of dollars, 20 years of my career. He gave me a stroke. Kurt Angle told me every night I already was taking the spears from Bill Goldberg. But now we can all say good riddance to Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg is the absolute shits. It's the shits. I can't take
it. Make sure you go give Brendan a follow and a check out there on TikTok. He does impressions, comedy, skits. His Bret Hart stuff's been really great lately. He gave us permission to use that. Highly talented person, so absolutely hilarious. Bret impression honestly sounded a lot like Bret to the point where I had to do a double take when I was first listening to it.
Yeah, no. When I close my eyes, it is Bret. Hey, Nugget, why don't you do an Owen Hart impression for us?
Oh God.
That didn't sound anything like Owen Hart. What the hell is your problem?
No, you know what?
I'm gonna have to take away gold.
I'm not a Nugget.
That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. That was okay.
I'm just glad he actually used something Owen said and didn't try to do something else, because that could have took a dark turn.
What else could I say?
The podcast.
I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
Oh God.
The podcast gets real dark.
So we ended the first night 2-2-2, tied up. It was pretty even Saturday night main event. Evolution though, Evolution took a turn. First and foremost, we had Jade defeat Naomi in the no holds barred match. They had Bianca come out on SmackDown and be announced as a special guest referee the night before. What a fucking waste! What a fucking waste! You could have had Bianca show up and turn heel. You could have Bianca show up at the pay-per-view being announced as a last minute. You could have saved some of that surprise factor for this.
Well, and that this was actually my bonus point for the predictions was that Bianca was going to turn heel when she got announced as the special guest referee. I even messaged you guys because I was like, oh, I kind of said, surprise return. This isn't quite a surprise anymore going in, but we all kind of decided it'd be based off the heel turn, and I still felt fairly confident in that because why have her be? I'm sorry, I'm getting here. Why have her be the special guest referee if you're not going to do anything with it? Like, a special guest referee is supposed to somehow be influential in the match to lead to something later. Like, that's the whole point of having a special guest referee, especially when it's a wrestler. Like when it was Shawn Michaels with Bret Hart and the Undertaker.
Super
the chairs involved. Like, Yeah, exactly. There's like layers to the storytelling, and there's somewhere you're going with it. Here, what was the story you're telling? Oh, Bianca had to raise Jade's hands, and she's pissed off about it. Fuck off. I would have rather you not had like any announcement that Bianca was going to come back. Let Jade win the championship. She's or win the match. She's like celebrating and everything, and then Bianca can come out and just a stare down across the entranceway.
Yeah,
Like
that
if
would have
that's
been
what
way
you're going
better.
to do, it at least saves the surprise for the PLE.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Becky defeated Bailey and Lyra in the triple threat. They're clearly probably pushing this to SummerSlam, maybe beyond. This match was kind of mediocre in my opinion, and I think all three women are far more capable than what they were.
I mean, this is clearly leading to surely a Valkyria heel turn, surely.
No. Valkyria is won a match against Bailey on Raw last night, so she's
facing Becky at SummerSlam, but it better be like a gimmick match or something, because like they've had enough regular wrestling matches at this point. It needs to be like a steel cage or like a ladder match or something.
I thought you were going to say like a bird match where you have like a bunch of birds around the ring.
They were willing to do a 2 out of 3 falls match for Bailey and Lyra. So why wouldn't you be willing to do something at least that grandiose for Becky and Lyra? I really like the idea of a ladder match. I'd really like a ladder match personally.
I think that'd be great too.
I think it calls back. It calls back to the Intercontinental Championship classic ladder matches. That we've had.
That was where my thought process was. Judgment Day retained the tag belts. Charlotte and Alexa stole the show in this match, in my opinion. Just the odd chemistry they had that was clicking and working. Charlotte looked really good in this match, and she really carried a lot of it.
Charlotte was getting cheered. How weird is it to hear Charlotte get cheered? Like, when's the last time that you were really happy and excited to see Charlotte Flair? I loved it. I loved it personally.
Yeah,
it was a welcome change.
It was a welcome change, that's for sure. JC Jane defeated Jordan Grace for the NXT Women's title. My bonus point was that Blake Monroe would cost Jordan Grace the match and turn heel, and I got that right. Now, the problem, Brian and I and Dan had a discussion about this. It wasn't clear if it was a heel turn or if it was on accident. Watching it back, it's very clear that it's intentional because she whips the belt into her and then acts innocent afterwards and hands the belt to JC and walks away with her finger in her mouth, similar to what she did kind of in AEW. So it's clearly a full-blown heel turn after that point, but commentary putting it over as a mistake was kind of weird, especially Jordan Grace's social media posts afterwards and the videos. It's definitely a heel turn.
Yeah, I think they did a good job after the fact of making sure to let you know, yes, this was a heel turn. I think in the moment it wasn't sold as well as it could have been, should have been. But
I think commentary really dropped the ball here. Yeah. I think commentary dropped the ball there, in my opinion.
I was going to say, it kind of makes sense though, because she does do her best work as a heel. So.
Yeah, but you can't always be a heel. You have to expand your range beyond that.
Yeah, and I think it's when she just came in, I think they tried to test her as a face, and it just didn't work for some reason. She just
It's not always just about being a heel, though. Sometimes by being that baby face for a little bit and getting people to invest in you, by then making that turn, it makes you that much more despicable, that much more loathed. One of the tactics I'll use all the time when I go to shows is I'll get in the ring, and the delivery I start with is I'm on the side of the fans. I'm sympathetic to the fans. We're all the same, except for the fact that I'm better than you. And you turn it on them, and that pisses them off that much more because it's like a bait and switch. they got roped into it, and they know that they got roped into it, and then they're pissed off about that. And you can use that as extra heat and momentum. I just think there might have been either go harder into it or let it ride longer so you can get more out of it. I just, like I said, I didn't like the execution of this.
That's fair. Stephanie McHare won the women's battle royal. She will face one of the women's champions at the Paris Clash at the Castle. I believe that's post SummerSlam. Not really sure why they're setting up that.
Yeah,
but
that makes no sense. Why would you build it for 2 months in advance? It should be better to do SummerSlam, but
welcome to the WWE booking. It hasn't made much sense lately. All right, so Dan, you laid down a challenge before we get to the main event. You laid down a challenge and you called Brian out in the chat again. Tiffany Stratton defeated Trish Stratus to retain the women's championship. Dan, you said that Trish Stratus wasn't a defining icon of the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
And wasn't that good.
Yes.
And was overrated. Those were your exact words.
Yes.
Brian, I'll let Brian defend his own argument first, Dan, but I need you to actually defend yours to the larger viewing audience, because not only is it nonsensical, but I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt to defend it.
So, and Dan, I want to be really clear even before you begin. I told Evan this. He's like, how do you want to do this? What should this format be and everything? Because you weren't here. Late as usual. And I said to him, here's how I want this to go. I want Dan to go ahead. I want him to give all his points first. Okay? After you're done, I'm going to go ahead. I'll retort. And then you get to respond back. And that'll be the end. That'll be the end of this debate between you and I. The viewers, Evan, whoever can pick a winner. Okay?
Okay.
Because I don't expect you to give up your opinion, and I'm not going to be changing mine. So that's up to everybody else to decide. But I'm going to give you both the beginning and the end here. I only need to speak once because I know that you're wrong. All right.
Okay. So the reason why I personally do not feel Trish Stratus is the icon as everyone presumes she is, and how everyone thinks she's like, the face of the women's division of the 90s and whatnot, and she's up there with like Lita as like one of the greatest of all time, is you have to look at her career as a whole. Now, when she came in, she was a model. She was doing stuff like Playboy and stuff, so she was more known for her looks rather than her wrestling. Okay, and I personally can't get over the fact, over her period of being an active in-ring wrestler, I know Evan's looking like he's going to die from what I'm about to say, she was only known for one thing, and it's not known for her being one of the greatest women of all time. It is, unfortunately, she is known for getting on her hands and knees and barking like a dog. That is what she's known for. Okay, yes, she's done some good wrestling, but it was good right near the very end of her career when she actually finally managed to get better and trained to perform better. Okay, and that's my thing. Like, you can't say you're one of the greatest winners of all time when you've only. You can't say you're one of the greatest winners of all time when you've only just gotten better near the end of your career. That's not something I could personally say in my cold heart conscience is true. Like, she's not, and yes, okay, she's definitely gotten better and better, like away from the ring. And obviously she hasn't really wrestled much, but in a recent match with like Becky Lynch and obviously Trish, she has gotten better. But unfortunately, you Attitude Era fans, it includes the people you like, you, Brian, and Evan, you're more focused on the Attitude Era being this great, sparkling, glorious standard of wrestling, not on the peak, and all you care about is how Trish was great, she was amazing. But you're only saying that based on her looks and her tits are not that great, and neither does she look that great. So, in my personal opinion, she will never be, in my eyes, one of the greatest women of the Attitude Era. In my opinion, she will always be second best, maybe third best to a bunch of wrestlers. I would say Lita is definitely up there. She is the top. She is in my personal opinion, the standard of women's division of the 90s, of the Attitude Era. That's who I personally think. And I think even people like Molly Holly and even Jazz, I think they're just a lot better than Trish. So in my personal opinion, Trish shouldn't be looked as this great wrestler and this icon if she's so known for getting on her hands and knees, barking like a dog, and essentially being Vince McMahon's personal play toy.
Are you done? Oh no, Evan, no. Hold on. First, I'd like to just say before I really get going that I agree with our comment section. God damn.
I told you I was going to come with smoke.
No, you didn't come with smoke. You came with stupidity. Your point got lost in the fog somewhere, but let me help you out. All right, so first of all, Trish Stratus was a part of numerous storylines with numerous superstars throughout the Attitude Era. There was the TNA tag team with Test and Albert that she managed, a tag team that she was able to help get over despite both of those guys being essentially charisma vacuums. There was a period where TNA was up there alongside the Acolytes, Edge and Christian, the New Age Outlaws, the Hardy Boys, all the headlining tag teams, the Dudley Boys, all the headlining tag teams, and the whole reason that they were able to get up to that level is because she was elevating them to that level with her managerial skills. You want to say that she's just tits and ass? Well, that's all well and good, but they already tried that. They tried that with Sunny, and they tried that with Sable. And if you had said that about either of those women, I wouldn't be like fighting back so hard. But what you have to understand is the matches that she did have through her wrestling career far exceeded the matches that the beauty talents had up until that point. She elevated it, and quite frankly, like and if you want to say anything about the her looks being an asset to her, how about that asset being that you got some of those young male fans to care about women's wrestling? And part of the argument that you're trying to make is that, oh well, the wrestlers of the modern day, and she, you know what, those wrestlers of the modern day, a lot of them wouldn't have gotten the opportunities that they got if it wasn't for Trish Stratus being a trailblazer in the way that she was. You want to talk about Molly Holly, you want to talk about Jazz, you want to talk, you in the chat, you didn't bring her up tonight, but in the chat you wanted to bring up Ivory. Yeah. You know what? Let's go through them. Ivory, honestly, she was misused in WWE, and I'll say that from the get-go, because Ivory was a premier star over in the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. She was the top of the top. You're nodding your head over here like you know what you're talking about, but I literally had to tell you that Glow was more than a Netflix show a couple days ago. So you don't know what you're talking about. Settle down. Jazz, okay? Jazz came from WCW. She was a talent over there, and then she came to WWE. Was she utilized to the best of her ability? No. But you know what? At the time that she was brought in, there really wasn't anyone outside of Ivory and Luna Vachon that could have a legitimate match against her. Okay? You don't understand that the women's division back in the Attitude Era, it wasn't deep. Okay? And it wasn't honestly all that deep when Trish Stratus became a wrestler herself. Why do you think they needed managers to become wrestlers? And I don't know if you realize this, but before she was a wrestler, Lita was also a manager. She managed S.A. Rios. Yeah, you're like, who? Yeah, she managed S.A. Rios, and then she started doing the moonsault because S.A. Rios used the moonsault as a finisher. So she started using it as a attack tactic because he was a heel. And people were like, holy crap, she does a better moonsault than he does. Let's have her wrestle.
And she used to wrestle in ECW, mind you, too.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, and WWE is notorious about this, they don't really know the level of talent of the people that they bring in. They didn't know John Cena could, rap. They found that out on a bus. Stephanie McMahon heard him goofing off with some boys in the back.
Yeah.
They don't. They wanted CM Punk to get rid of the Pepsi plunge, his pedigree off the top rope, and replace it with some high flying flippy move. He don't do that. That's not his style. So they don't really always know. Vince McMahon didn't always know the talent that he was hiring and what they had the ability to do. And I think that it's incredibly simplistic for you to limit something down to a degrading moment for women. But if I could expound on that moment, because this is how simplistic your mind is and why I only need to go once and I can let you go again and it's not going to matter. You're so busy concentrating on this moment where Vince McMahon had her on her knees and barking like a dog, or he demeaned her as he tried to amp up his villain character and he's trying to get heat. And to her credit, she helped him get that heat. And then she turned around at WrestleMania and helped Linda McMahon fuck Vince over and turned on him. She helped Christian in this great heel turn against Chris Jericho. She's had these epic moments of face turn, of heel turn, of a whole story built up to the point where you fucking cared about her as a viewer. And then by the end of it, you were completely floored because of the performance she gave. But the problem is you don't know that because all you know is what you've seen in a handful of TikTok videos produced by kids who never existed in the Attitude Era and didn't actually watch week to week to week to week. So while you're sitting there and you're downing on me for being some like old fogey in the retirement home or whatever you want to label me as, the fact of the matter is I watched that episodically from week to week to week, and I had that experience of growing to care about these characters. You don't get that experience, nowadays because they have a PLE every 30 minutes.
That's true.
Now, let me see. Childhood, teenagehood, parenthood. Oh, yeah. And just to make sure that you understand that she is in touch with the current world. Yeah, baby, you totally were my first crush.
That's true for a lot of young men. I think it's incredibly reductive, Dan, to boil it down to that. Yeah. That moment was a storyline moment. It's degrading on purpose. And I think you honestly need to go back and rewatch her career.
I just say it's more like
he gets one more. He gets one more. Go ahead. Say whatever you want to refute what I said.
I brought it up and I brought it back as a focal point of my own. It's more that, unfortunately, whether you like it or not, wrestling is built on moments. Those moments are what you're going to remember from the past into the future. If there's not a big stand-up moment, you're probably not going to be as remembered. Like obviously wrestling fans, we all remember whoever these wrestlers are because they'll come up time to time, like, oh, do you remember, I don't know, Snitsky, for example? He was backstage, so he's like, oh, I know Snitsky. Yeah, he punted a baby. That's what he's kind of known for, whether you like it or not. That is what he's known for. unfortunately for me, the way I know Trish Stratus from just growing up from someone who's born in that kind of late 90s, early 2000s wrestling, and had to kind of grow up with the likes of, unfortunately, Kelly, Maria, who were just brought in to be essentially eye candy and be appealing to my demographic, which I would personally say Kelly.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm not trying. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but how the fuck are you gonna say these names and not name Eva Marie? Can you just?
Well, yeah, I was gonna get to it. Eva Marie as well. Eva Marie, but. And it's not like I'm saying, WWE was worse back then. I think WWE is way worse now, especially in recent history. You've seen like Kelly, Maria, Eva Marie all come in, kind of look to be like what I kind of describe Trish as like someone to look good on front of the camera, look sexually appealing to the male gaze, but also to try and do stuff like Playboy and try and at least book those like viewership numbers up. And unfortunately, my first crush is I'm saying is kind of either level of what you are buying with Trish Stratus is Maria Kenneth. She was kind of, in my personal opinion, the same way as Trish, where she was kind of brought in for looks, but she kind of got better later on in her stage down the line.
I said I wasn't going to refute anything. I was just going to let you go ahead and have your point. I'm really trying hard to hold to that. I think you might want to check the accuracy of some of the things that you said, and that's where I'll leave that.
I will say that Trish is definitely on a higher level than Maria Kenneth. I'm not saying that, I'm not saying like, oh, they're on the same level. I don't think Trish is on a higher level, but in terms of her career, active-wise, I think they're on the same level. Like active-wise, they were kind of on the same level. It started off not great, but gradually got better over time. But over time does not matter a whole career, and that's the way I look at it. And it's thing I feel like Trish Stratus feels like, to me, in the women's division, she seems more like, I don't know how to describe it. She seems more like a rock, in my opinion. Like she's not in wrestling ability, not in pro ability, but more in just the fact that she has that star power, that she is always going to be remembered. She's always going to be talked about in like women's wrestling and women's history, and she's always going to be brought back for like Money in the Bank, even maybe like Royal Rumble, whatnot, and try and garner some good like viewership and some good like storytelling like ideas. And I just think like we've seen evolution, seeing her brought back. It felt very much like a Goldberg situation, where like she was kind of brought back because they wanted to put more eyes on the Evolution card. And I feel like she kind of took a spot away from someone who could have done much better.
Okay, you got to decide when you're done, because you keep like stopping.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to let you be finished, because
we're gonna let the audience decide on who won this debate. Dan, I think you're doing yourself a disservice and being rather reductive when it comes to Trish's career. Yes, she was brought in primarily to appeal to that male gaze, that target audience in the late 90s, as she was a model.
Yeah.
And
one of the fitness model, sports and fitness model.
Yeah. One of the most beautiful women at that time in the roster. She was pushed that way. She was doing all that stuff. She was managing. But her matches are good. Her and Tiffany stole the show in terms of an actual match last night. They had the best match on the Evolution card.
Well, yeah.
Maybe besides EO and Rhea up to a point. And like, I think it's rather reductive. And I listened to you make a fool of yourself tonight, but also make a fool of yourself in that chat the other day. I think you have a little bit of a revisionist self of history here, and I think I honestly challenge you to go back and rewatch her matches. Like, she was one of the most compelling drawing characters of the late Attitude Era into the Ruthless Aggression Era. Mm-hmm. She wasn't a great wrestler in the Attitude Era per se, but during the early 2000s Ruthless Aggression Era, she was one of the best drawing talents they had.
What would you say, like, I should recommend, like, to watch some of her best matches?
There's a Raw match between her and Lita that was the main event. It's probably her best match ever. The heel turn at WrestleMania 18 with Christian and Jericho.
Oh my God, that was so good.
That was really good, and I would probably watch a little bit of the build up from like maybe Survivor Series to that.
Would you not say like her match against Mickie James then is not good then? Would you say that's quite bad?
It was an okay series.
One of the things, and I'm not trying to like keep the argument going, but I will say just in terms of like the best stuff. So there was a storyline she did where her and Chris Jericho, it was like a will they won't they kind of like will they get together, and they built it up week by week by week, and Chris Jericho was like falling in love with Trish Stratus, and it got to a point where like as a fan, as you've been watching this and everything, you were in it. You wanted them to hook up, kind of in the way that like you wanted Macho and Miss Elizabeth to get back together, kind of thing back in the day. And when she stabbed him in the back and then started like making out with his best friend who had become his enemy, it was like the heel turn and the look that she gives the camera. Like if I can,
it was like the. I don't know if you've ever, been in that position, but like, when you're a kid growing up in high school and the pretty girl, like you have a crush on, and like you guys are hanging out, and maybe you're dating or you're talking, and then like she ends up going out with your friend instead of you. It's that guttural moment that made it raw and real. And I think that gets lost in a lot of the translation.
I kind of experienced that in college when my girlfriend dumped me for my best friend, which was not great.
So
bear in mind, it was literally no more than like 2 days later. So.
Yeah, think about that, how you felt, and then think about that happening to millions of people across the world. Like, because they were so invested in the story.
Ooh, that sounds awful.
Yeah, I think you're missing the context. I think you really need to go back and rewatch her stuff. Anyways, let's get back on track. Naomi cashed in the World Heavyweight Champion, or the Money in the Bank contract to defeat Io Sky and Rhea Ripley for the to win the Women's Championship. So congratulations to Naomi. Io and Rhea were killing it before Naomi cashed in, and it was the right call probably to have her. It was a nice swerve surprise to have her pick up the dub there.
Yeah, I got this wrong, very, very wrong, because I thought it was going to be Naomi cashing in on Tiffany.
Yeah. That was what had been hinted at, but, WWE likes to try to throw us swerves with the Money in the Bank thing. The end of the weekend, when it came to our scores, I had 7 points. You each had 4 points.
Yeah.
So I retained. I am the Forever Predictions champion. But
the way the WWE is throwing out PLEs, you're going to lose that championship in a week and a half.
Not if it's predictable.
I still can't believe we did a Shield when I won it and then I lost it to Brian and then Brian lost it back to you.
And that all happened within a month.
Yeah.
That's how many PLEs we've had.
Essentially, all you were doing is you were just giving it to me to hold just to get it eventually back to you from Brian.
Huh?
No, because essentially you lost it to me. And then I immediately lost it.
I don't remember. Wait, I'm really confused here. I don't remember you holding the championship belt.
I did hold it, and then you challenged me on a quiz.
Really, Dan? Where
Eric, I will say, Dan did earn 2 gold stars at the very beginning of tonight's broadcast for his self-deprecating background. It got a good chuckle out of Evan and I, and we went ahead and gave him some gold
I can smell the British greasy bastard all the way over here. But since we're going to start covering AEW again with their results and talking about them more now that they've been consistent on topic. Dan, I'm sorry, I know you're a WWE fanboy, and we got off the AEW train for a little while. AEW has been consistently better than WWE for at least the last 4 months. And I've got some thoughts on the Death Rider story. I've gone back and I've rewatched a lot of it, and I don't think we gave it. We don't. I think we are so conditioned as wrestling fans to need to be surprised, to need to have these stories to compel us. The Death Riders were actually the antithesis of that, and that was their purpose. It got the people over that it needed to get over. It's just the ride they took us on wasn't one we're used to.
It was like being in the back of an Uber at 5 a.m., drunk as fuck, and just sitting next to a guy who stinks of shit. That is what it was.
Well, yeah, John Moxley probably got lost at the airport. But anyways, so Athena won the women's casino gauntlet match. MJF won the men's. Her business with MJF's really picking up. Athena winning the women's gauntlet was an interesting choice. She's the forever women's ROH champion, right now. She lost to Mercedes. At the last pay-per-view. So it's really interesting. Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland defeated the Young Bucks. Will Ospreay and Swerve are now the EVPs. So I don't think this feud is over with.
Wait, hold on. The EVPs. Hold on. How the hell does that work? I thought it was just for
the Bucks lost their EVP status to them. If you go to AEW,
it's a story. It's a storyline, Dan. Come on.
Oh! I thought they actually lost it. It's like, are they now like the EVPs now of the company? I was like, what the fuck?
Dan, do you understand how professional wrestling works?
I do, but I didn't think it was
that. Do you understand the concept of a work or a gimmick? Do we need to go back to?
No, I know.
I mean, I know you're the mark, but I didn't realize you were that big of a mark. Like, I thought you understood that, like, the results are kind of okay. Okay, listen, Dan. All right, look.
Predetermined.
Okay. All right, look. I'm going to show you. My name is Brian Mercer. And when I go out and I talk on the microphone that they let me have, okay, then I'm a bad guy. And my goal is to piss everybody off, okay? And then
with a Jersey accent.
And then conveniently, this good guy who's always bigger than me comes out, but I don't get punched in the face or anything. Instead, a match gets made for later that evening, in which we're going to go backstage and, probably talk about it a little bit before we actually do it. No.
It still will to me, damn it.
The Ops defeated. They retained the trios titles. The Hurt Syndicate defeated the people they were facing. Dustin Rhodes defeated Kyle Fletcher, Sammy Guevara, and Daniel Garcia. So Adam Cole had to relinquish the TNT Championship due to injuries. He's having severe concussion issues. Apparently, he was rumored to have possibly be coming out to retire at the pay-per-view, but was talked out of it. They want to see how they can help him progress, to see if he can get back to being able to compete. I hope he's able to, but concussions are no fucking joke, man.
Yeah, no, it's just it's so sad to see Adam Cole. Adam Cole, baby. Yeah, he was in WWE. You know who he is.
I know that. I'm not like stupid. Well, actually, maybe I am. But
I mean, after a couple of conversations that we've had tonight, I don't know if you can claim that anymore. It is really sad to see Adam Cole getting injured so soon after coming back from an injury. And I really hope that this isn't the last that we've seen of Adam Cole, because he's extremely talented. But even if it is the end of his in-ring career, he's a very creative individual. I think that he's still got a lot to offer backstage. And, I think we're still going to get, his online series. And
what if you become the manager like Vince wanted him to be?
That would be kind of ironic.
I mean, it'd be quite funny though. I mean, imagine him putting him with like Keith Lee as a manager. That'd be hilarious.
That would actually be hilarious.
That would be hilarious.
Like,
Tony Storm defeated Mercedes Moné. I was a little shocked. I honestly thought Mercedes was going to win this match.
I was so happy about this.
This
was the right decision. This was the right decision.
I did like in the match when like Tony like ate my Mercedes Money's like ass. That was quite cool. I like that.
Of course you would. Tony Storm, yeah, the spot, it was a funny spot because she reversed the tombstone and she ate some kitty cat.
I would have liked if she slapped it though. That would have been a lot better. I would like to see Mercedes Money's ass.
Dan, if you want to watch porn,
it's
go
called
watch porn.
69ing. It's called 69ing. We have a term for it, okay?
I was trying to be PG and just said kitty cat and left it at that.
It was really...
Hey, Steve, I can hear you going, yeah, babe.
I'm going to give, Steve gets a gold star for that one.
2 gold. You know what? 3 gold stars.
How did you get more than me? I want 2.
When you make the rules, you make the rules.
That was really funny. Like you were funny earlier, so you got 2.
You're now in the positives. At least you can catch up to him.
He was really
funny.
funny.
Brian. You can't catch me at Brian because we have infinite.
But these gold stars, like, am I going to get a trophy? Am I going to get a title? Am I going to face Dave Meltzer in his basement?
Dan, damn it! Just by asking, you lost a gold star.
Make that 2.
What? No, I was on 2.
You're back in the negatives, bitch. Kazuchika Okada defeated Kenny Omega, unifying the Continental International titles.
Okay, can we call this the? Can we call it the Intercontinental title? Like, seriously, it really bothers me. Like, it's not like WWE has the.
You think that's bad? He's not going to have 1 belt walking around with him. He's going to have 3 belts. Like.
Well, I think that looks good for the Rainmaker, personally. Like. I see.
Yeah, but like,
I see where they're going with this. They're building him up back into the Rainmaker that he used to be, and I dig that, and I like that he lost, that Omega lost, because like
he didn't need it.
He didn't need it, but it's also it's like this feels like the beginning of another trilogy. That's what this felt like to me, and that's why I was so excited for this match. It felt like the beginning of a whole new trilogy that they're doing for the Americans this time.
Yeah. It wasn't the best of their series. I would put it at number 3. But it was still a really good match. And the Texas Death Match in the main event, Hangman Adam Page defeated Jon Moxley, becoming the new AEW World Champion. This was a really good match. It had blood, it had guts. It had a lot of cowboy shit. It had interference from, Prince Nana handcuffing Marina Shafir to the railing was really funny. And he's like, he danced right in front of her. Dan, get that off your fucking screen. Get that off your fucking screen. Negative 1,000 stars. Negative 1,000 gold stars.
1,000.
You were doing so well.
We all know where that meme's from.
You were doing so well at the beginning of this. At the beginning of
Oh my god.
God damn it, Dan.
And with that, before we go any further, Evan, can I have please some?
Do you know what I should have done? I should have put Obafemi's face on top.
I need some positive time with some iguana, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Iguana had a fantastic weekend. They had a tag team match with I forgot what the lady's name was, but
don't worry, it's royalty free. Come on, Dan. Dance for iguana time.
I'm about to start it.
Do the truffle shuffle.
Can somebody clip this at home for me? I'm gonna need that moment.
Oh my god, that's just gonna be a clip. Everyone's gonna remember now. It's just gonna be me just looking like a fucking peacock.
Oh yeah.
Wow. You could have done anything, and you chose to do that.
The peacock dance.
And speaking of Mr. Iguana, he had quite the good weekend. Oh, I had to, guys. I had to.
Oh yeah.
Evan, can you play that for a second time, please?
No, you can go look it up yourself, you perv.
That's why we're on YouTube, buddy. You can go and watch it tomorrow on replay 100 times over. Make sure to like and subscribe. Before
we jump into Monday Night Raw recap this week, because SmackDown was, bullshit last week, we'll do SmackDown this week going forward. Before we jump into Monday Night Raw, make sure you go to duelingguard.com, enter the code SOG for 5% off all your orders. The new Avatar of the Last Airbender deck boxes are being launched. The pre-order is this Friday. I have a video up on TikTok, and I'm sharing that to our YouTube page as well. I've still got to get our Sacred Treasure, the Grand Line Treasures one up. I've been working on editing that. I haven't been super high up on the quality with what I've been working with, but I'll get that up. But yeah, make sure to go to duelingguard.com, enter the code SOG for 5% off all your orders. You'll have a good time. Monday Night Raw, we saw Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez to beat the Kabuki Warriors. Lyra Valkyrie winning the 2 out of 3 falls. She'll face Becky Lynch. Nikki Bella's back in singles action. It's a little weird to see her in singles action and know her sister's nowhere around. The whole feud with Chelsea Green, I think that's just now starting.
Oh my god. I was just watching it.
God damn it, Steve!
That has to be one of the greatest clips I've ever seen. Oh my god. If Steve wants more, I'll give him more.
Oh my god. Oh shit.
This is what our show has been devolved into.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Holy fuck.
I'm gonna die.
Oh my god. Oh shit. Oh god, Steve, you get +5 gold stars there.
Oh,
Dan's negative 1,103.
Oh.
Anyways, CM Punk won the gauntlet match. He'll be facing Gunther at SummerSlam. Roman Reigns made his big return. They were in Pensacola, so that makes sense because that's his hometown. That's where he lives.
Daniel, get your finger up for your tribal chief.
He's having a little problem with that. Maybe he needs to go to enforce2.com, enter the code SOG.
Oh my god.
But he helped Jey Uso and CM Punk fight off Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. And yeah, I feel like they rushed Roman's return back. I feel like he was eventually going to face Seth, but with Seth's injury, I think that
I think they had to. I think they had to do something.
It's going to be a tag match, I guess, with Punk and Reigns.
No.
It'll probably be Jey Uso.
Jey and Roman against Braun and Bronson. And then on the other side, on the SmackDown, we've already got, Jimmy kind of becoming buddies with Jacob Fatu. All the elements are there to head into SummerSlam in a Bloodline versus Bloodline feud.
Surely you've got to lead to hopefully both families coming together and actually being one. Hopefully.
Actually, to be honest, what I was hoping for was that it was going to end up being 3 teams. That it was going to be like basically your original Bloodline, a 4-man team of original Bloodline, a 4-man team of Solo's bloodline, and then the Seth Rollins team. Whatever whatever we're calling it. Did we decide we're calling it the Empire? I'm calling it the Empire.
I thought it's called the trifecta of trios now.
I'm gonna call it Pirate's Leg. He's hopping around on one leg. He's a waitress at IHOP.
I'll just call it the trifecta of terror because that's what people online have been calling
it. You can't call it a trifecta if there's only 2 of them running around. We need a third man.
He's free.
Yeah. Paul Heyman's the third man. Yeah, Paul Heyman's going to get in the ring, start winning some championships.
Actually, do you know what?
That doesn't work for me, brother.
Imagine if it's Paul Heyman that cashed in the briefcase.
I was thinking about this, and I know there isn't really a precedence for it, but why not have Seth give the briefcase to somebody?
I think maybe that's their plan. It just depends on how long he's actually going to be out. I guess let's jump right into this. We'll make that the first one. How should WWE handle Seth Rollins' injury, in our opinion? This is one of our 3 topics for the week. Personally, I think you've got 2 options. He either holds the money in the brief if he's not out long, have him hold the Money in the Bank briefcase until the most opportune time, whether it's the Rumble, whether it's Elimination Chamber, whether it's Mania itself. He's got a year, or almost a full year. So there's that option. Or have him bequeath it to Braun Breaker, have them recruit a new leader, or they could bequeath it to a new, maybe that plan B they kept talking about. Maybe Seth's actually been injured for a while, and this whole thing with LA Knight to have that match happen was a way to get that injury, get him off the shelf, get him on the shelf. I think 2 very good options, but I'm only going to say 1. The group needs a new leader, someone that can actually talk, someone that can actually, deliver. Someone who's kind of a bloodline hunter and could go toe-to-toe with Roman's group if necessary.
Lance?
Drew McIntyre.
Oh.
Have Drew become the new leader of Seth's faction while Seth's recuperating on the shelf. Make it be like it's always been all along that Drew is the one pulling the strings. There's an argument you can make for 2 other people. I know one of them's Brian's. I'm not going to mention him. The other option I was thinking was Cody Rhodes. You could do a swerve, do a double turn at SummerSlam, where Cody turns heel and Cena turns face. Have Seth bequeath the briefcase to Cody as a giant fuck you to The Rock and Cena and all them. There's a way to do that. Personally, I have my own thoughts on when Seth comes back. I need him to stop doing the flippy shit. Similar to how when Austin came back from his neck being broken, when he did a lot more of the technical, chain wrestling and things like that. Seth needs to come back as a brawler. Work a slower, more methodical pace, take less risks. This is the 2nd or 3rd major leg injury in his career. Stop with the flippy shit, man. For your own health and safety, for your family's safety, for your financial well-being and future. We love you. Stop with the flippy shit. You don't need to do it, man.
I think he can do it. I think he just has to limit it to a point where...
He literally should not. His knee is probably hanging on by a fucking thread.
Oh, yeah. It's probably like string at this point. It's like fucking hold the by sellotape.
Yeah, I've had a similar injury, not to that extent, but I've torn my MCL in my leg before. It took a long time to recover.
Yeah, and especially with how many days are on the road as well, and training and hitting gym.
Yep.
So I've gone back and forth on what I would like to see them do with the Money in the Bank briefcase, specifically as a result of this. And so, one, I do like the idea of my pick that Evan mentioned. It was Karrion Kross. I think, would be a delightful addition to the Paul Heyman family. I think that he has the ability to talk and entrance and is extremely charismatic in the way that that group was expecting Seth Rollins to be. And, he's not really doing anything right now. He's already a good heel. Like, there's a lot of ways that you can go into this. And then, when you want to combine his history with Sami Zayn, it's really easy to kind of loop those threads in to the story that was already being told with the Paul Heyman group. But with the briefcase, ultimately what I've landed on that I think would be great to do is keep it completely ambiguous what Seth's status is from the fan base for now. Don't have him do anything. Excuse me. Don't have him do anything with the briefcase. And then in a couple of months, have Seth come out and essentially do the retirement segment that Mark Henry did with John Cena, with the big difference be have him cash in. Have him cash in while still on the injured list. He's the champion and nobody can get to him.
That'd be a great heel move. Also, why are we just not calling their group the Heenan, or like the Heenan family? Call it the Heyman family. Let's just call it that.
The Heyman family?
Like, that's way better than the Empire. That's way better than the trifecta of terror, whatever garbage Vince McMahon Jr. over there wrote.
I'm down with it. The Heyman family.
I mean, I've got quite an interesting idea of how I would personally go about it. Which you two already kind of know who I want to pick for the briefcase wise, I have an idea. Where obviously Seth's still going to be injured. He's not going to be able to actually defend the belt. So my personal idea is he has his group kind of represent him. So they like step in his place. So say if he wins, the title, or maybe like he gets Braun Breaker to cash in the briefcase, or he gets Bronson Reed, or maybe LA Knight, whoever, like to cash in for him, and no free constantly just have a title on them. So if one's not fully fit and ready for the pay-per-view, you can have, maybe Braun Breaker.
So you're saying basically to Freebird rule the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Pretty much.
I don't hate it. It'd be wonky. I'm more curious about the LA Knight thing, because this is the second time I heard you mention it.
Yeah.
You keep thinking LA Knight should be the leader of this group. I want to know why.
Now, the reason why is I watched TNA growing up. I specifically watched, Eli Drake in TNA, and I know how good he is as a heel. He is phenomenal as a heel. People say, "Oh, but he's good as a face," but no, he is so much better as a heel. He has worked with Drew McIntyre, so you've seen his heel work. He is a fantastic heel. He's much better than he is as a face. And if you put him in the group, make him a heel, he's going to be one of the most charismatic, one of the most funny, such a great leader as well. Like, he's always led a few groups in his past, so he's always known for being a strong leader and a good voice as well. He is everything you could want to someone to be this new leader of this faction. And if you wanted to be the champion, you can easily do that as well. He has got that pedigree. He has got that champion level look about him. And I think if you made him the fourth member and the new leader, I think it's going to go to a new level. I think he's going to take it to a level we've not seen before.
The problem is in WWE, he hasn't really done any of that. He's done that in TNA. He did that in, NWA.
Yeah, that was 2014.
The whole dummy thing where in TNA was gold. He's uber talented.
Well, even
if you have him join this group, that Seth Rollins, is the benchmark for this group that you have to beat the shit out of the leader? You have to injure the leader of the group in order to gain entry.
I wouldn't say it's Seth Rollins who wants him. I think it's Paul Heyman. I think he discusses him about the idea of being he says, I know you're not good with Seth. I know you don't like him. Blah 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 blah. But I like you.
So
there's something
this
happens
makes
there
me.
between him and LA Knight,
Paul
but it's
Heyman
more like
has a level of loyalty to him. It's like he does eventually always turn on his clients, but he does have a long-term loyalty before that. Like that's why the turn is always surprising.
And I think there's definitely. I think that in my perspective, I think the Heyman turn is going to happen, and I think he's going to turn back on Seth or Roman. I think that's what it's going to lead to. I'm not saying it will, because I think I've Seth's injured.
Why? Okay, thank God. Okay, I feel better. I'll get my music.
No, right. So before Seth gets injured, my original idea was Seth's going to be turned on again by Heyman because this was all a ploy. It was all a plan from Roman to get Seth weak and vulnerable and act like he can trust Heyman and can build him up to expectations where he feels like he's the man who can handle it all until he's cut down. And that's what I thought. I thought, the lead back to
Somebody clip that. It's like watching the penguin at the zoo run into the glass.
Oh, Kevin, that's a gold star. That was a gold star. You made me laugh heartily on that one. You get a gold star.
What does he get fucking gold star?
I have infinite gold stars and I still earn them because I'm motherfucking money.
All right.
All right, yeah. So Dan, I appreciate the creativity and I appreciate you explaining that. I think it's a big jump to get LA Knight in to screw with.
No,
Seth.
I think it'll be.
I don't hate the idea of LA Knight eventually joining them.
So my idea was like it was going to lead up to SummerSlam, where not SummerSlam, sorry, Survivor Series, where they need a full flat of everyone, whoever, and then that's how you bring them in.
If they turn Cody heel, I think LA Knight's in a position where he could be catapulted. I don't think LA Knight is a faction guy. I think LA Knight's character is kind of like that Austin Rock hybrid. He's a lone wolf, but like he'll take the help when he gets it. I could see them if Cody turns heel, they'll need another top babyface, and I think he's in the perfect position. Him and Sami Zayn could be like the Austin Rock hybrid, and then like the Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels hybrid, basically.
But would he turn heel again? That's the problem, because obviously, remember, like he refused to turn heel in AEW. So, is it going to be the same problem here? Like he just doesn't want to turn heel, like he just wants to stay being a face.
I think he's got a little less sway in WWE when it comes to like that type of decision, and also he's hinted at we're approaching the end of his babyface reign run. So, and the audience still loves Cody, but his character's getting a little bland and boring.
He feels like Cena back in 2012, where like they were setting up for heel turn, but then they knew because of his his popularity and the stuff with like Walmart.
Yeah, honestly, like I would probably. At this point, just go full Homelander. Just fucking do it.
Wait, so is he going to turn on, like, Cena then? And then align with...
a double turn at SummerSlam. Have Seth give Cody the briefcase to use to cash in on Cena. Or, to do something to Cena to set it up after the match. Or, basically, in a convoluted way, still get the belt, is my point.
It would be interesting to see Seth take out Cena. Okay, imagine Cena stays heel. Imagine a world where Cena stays heel. The championship reign lasts all the way to Saturday night's main event. You're like, okay, he has to lose the belt here. Cena wins, and then Seth comes back. Seth comes back still a heel, but cashes in and takes the belt from Cena, and then looks at everybody and says, I'm your real hero. You have to cheer me. I just saved the WWE.
I am the captain now.
See, that would have been quite a good idea. Like if it was like he was coming down on crutches.
I could be down with that.
Cash it in. Like I like the idea of like it's the last pay-per-view, Cena wins, and then Seth comes down on crutches, and you think, how the fuck is this going to happen? And that's when Cody comes out, crossroads, Seth gives him the briefcase, 1, 2, 3, maybe like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you could do it, and I mean, you could have it be Seth hangs onto the briefcase all the way until then, and let's say Punk fails to beat Gunther for the World Championship. Maybe you get Cena versus Punk in the final match in Boston. Punk wins, and then Seth cashes in as a way to fuck his old rival over one last time. That way, Cena goes out on his back, Punk gets his moment, Rollins gets his. To try that guy, it could work.
How do you think about the idea of seeing Punk becomes the new member?
I don't hate it. It kind of is an antithesis of his character, though.
But like,
it doesn't make sense when Heyman turned on Punk to create this group.
Yeah.
But then I feel like Punk gonna do.
They're in a tight spot, and that kind of leads into our next topic: is SummerSlam already in trouble? And I think for me, it's a resounding yes. Mm-hmm. I think you're going back to the drawing board. Like right now, you've got Cody versus Cena, you've got Punk versus Gunther, you've got Roman and Jay versus Bronson and Braun, you've got Jade versus Tiffany, and then Naomi versus whoever she wins against.
We've got Lyra versus
and Becky.
And Becky. Like, we got to keep in mind too, this isn't a one-day event. This is a 2-day event this time.
Yeah, Dom versus AJ will probably happen at SummerSlam.
I could see that. Actually, to be honest, I'm kind of hoping we're finally to Dom versus Finn by SummerSlam.
I think that might. I think they're going to drag that out to the fall.
They're
going to drag that out for as long as they can because they want Liv to come back.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know what this feels like?
Because I think she's coming back at the Royal Rumble.
What Mania was it when there was hardly any star power, and it was a Mania 32 or 33? That's what it feels like.
Half of the last decade.
Yeah, was like you have no star power, and you're just working on like B tier to C tier like wrestlers. They keep
half of the last decade.
It feels like that again. I don't know if it's like maybe like not an injury problem, but it's going to be like a.
Well, we've talked about this. They failed to really build up that A-level star. Like they've got Roman Reigns, they've got Cody Rhodes, they've got John Cena and CM Punk. After that, there's a huge drop off. You have your Seth Rollins, your Gunthers, your Damian Priests, your B level players. With the women, you've got you've got Rhea Ripley, you've got Io's kind of at that B level, but she's kind of there.
Yeah, you got there.
Naomi's kind of there too. Jade's at that A level. Charlotte's at that A level. Becky's at that A level. But like when you talk of superstars, that field narrows more. And it's it kind of reminds me a lot of the Attitude Era, where like there's the top, where like Austin, Rock, Triple H, and Taker, and Mankind, and Vince, and then there's a huge drop off into the mid card. Mm-hmm. It's the same situation. WWE's never really been great in the last 20 years of building and maintaining their mid-card and tag divisions, men and women. It's just
especially when the tag division right now is kind of like the Wyatt storyline. It just feels quite sad.
Yeah, Wyatt's winning the tag belt, or the Wyatt Six winning the tag belts on SmackDown. That felt like a rush thing. Maybe somebody had an injury, but like they have done nothing with the Wyatt Six, in my opinion. I know they're keeping it around to honor, Bray's memory, and I don't want to be, a Debbie Downer, but like you had me hooked, and then you just completely shit the bed. Like
they're not doing anything with it. You have to actually do something with what you have, and when they're not showing up on television. Like and it's such an easy thing with that group where it can just be like a quick little like vignette to like start feeding into the fear of something that's going to happen 2 months from now. Like,
my idea for the Wyatt Six, they should have continued the Firefly Funhouse stuff and have those characters come like the puppets come to life, and that's what they kind of were, but they weren't at the same time. Like,
yeah,
they should just brought into life like these are the vessels.
I'm genuinely concerned that SummerSlam this year is going to be one of the worst SummerSlams of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
that's understandable.
AEW All In was better than Evolution. It was better than Saturday Night Main Event. Their pay-per-view was better than anything WWE's put out this year.
Yeah.
Evolution has been their best PLE this year, in my opinion, since the Netflix debut.
It just feels like it's going backwards again. You know, they've left in, it was a good hiatus, and it was very good, and then ever since, like, I wouldn't say when TKO bought it over, but I would say, like, yeah, definitely the Netflix deal to, like, the price hike. It's just, it's on a downward tread again. It's sad because I feel like right now it's not. I don't think it's Triple H's fault. I think he's kind of just been told, like, okay, you got to do this and this and this. We need to get these up. We need these amount of numbers. We need these amount of merch sales. Blah 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 blah. And I think he's just going on a whim of, okay, how can I do that? I'll try that and that and that. Bear in mind, it's not helping the show or the wrestlers. It's just helping the company.
Well, I think this is just my opinion. I think right now the real thing working against WWE is the number of PLEs. When you're having 2, 3 in the same weekend, when your own shows are like getting in the way of people getting tickets to buy, to go see other shows. Like, Jesus Christ, what are we doing anymore? And like, I'm not a fan of the counter programming.
That was really dumb.
See, it works. I think more than one pay-per-view a month can work if it was a proper brand split. But it's like the brand split doesn't matter anymore. Like, they do a draft, but it doesn't affect the rosters at all.
Brand split has never mattered. What are you talking about, Dan?
Like, they would like to promote the draft and like promote, like, who's going to different who's going to different like rosters and whatnot, and it's like. But then you constantly have people coming and going on each roster that, and it's like, is this like a brand invasion? Is this like a trade? Is this like they don't explain it, and that's what annoys me the most. It's like, you could easily explain it why. Like, even Vince, like back in the day when he was going fucking mental, like he explained a trade between each wrestlers. Like, you have like 2 or 3 wrestlers that could trade a week to come towards.
He also based an entire episode of Monday Night Raw on some golden fucking eggs. So maybe we don't use Vince McMahon as our measuring stick.
I thought he got blown up in a limousine.
No, unfortunately.
It's just a fever dream.
Yeah. Anyways, next topic, Legends. So this is kind of multifaceted. So WWE for a while has been featuring their legends in the crowd who are all in attendance, whether it's the local legends they have that are on Legend Steals. I love it. Some people aren't fans of it. I love that it showcases the past of the people who paved the way. What pissed me off, and this is why I said it's multifaceted, was reading the social media comments of these fucking incel troglodytes living in their parents' basements criticizing legends like Jazz and Jackie and, Alundra Blaze, and commenting on their age and, like, basically calling them old women and old hags. And I'm like, you guys are fucking dumb as shit. You smooth brain idiots. Like, they're older women. As I get older, I get more grays. I get more grays here in my beard, more grays in here, grays everywhere else. It happens. You get older. It's part of being human. It's called aging. And those women are beautiful. They are legends that paved the way. They are owed the respect that they get and that they deserve. And you're a fucking ass clown for even doing that. Do fucking better.
Except Toni Storm, because she's timeless.
We call that the timeless Tijuana tickler submission. It's called 2 lips, 1 tongue. Oh, it's a good episode when I pop Ryan twice.
I'm not gonna lie, I would get on my knee for Toni Storm. I want to be her slave.
Dan, no. Too far.
Too far, bro. Too far.
Too far.
It's okay to appreciate timeless Tony Storm and Tony Time. It is not okay.
You know. As a matter of fact, Dan.
Women.
Well, as long as we're talking about, legends, I want to talk about.
I'm not putting that up, Ryan. I'm not putting that up.
As long as we're talking about legends, I'd like to talk about Goldberg a little bit.
Oh, I get it, Steve. I understand. Okay, you want me to talk about Bailey's ass more? Okay, we can have a Bailey's ass segment of the week.
Dan. Seriously, so Goldberg and Gunther, I think, left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth from the build, and really the match they had wasn't horrible. Better than most Goldberg matches, if I'm being honest. Where I got frustrated was with the build, because it was like this attitude of Goldberg just getting a world title shot, and I thought that there was really a better way to go about it. How I would have gone about it from the start is I would have had Gunther come out. Goldberg can come out just like general pop the audience legends shit. Gunther comes out, make fun of him. I'm a better champion than you ever were. I'm more dominant than you ever were. Push him. What, would you like a match with me? Come on, champ. And Goldberg can be like, hey, I'm retired. Like I'm done. I haven't been in the ring in years. Like, keeps pushing him. And then finally Goldberg shoves him back. And it's like, you keep pushing me, and you're going to find out that the legend still has a little bit left in the tank. Like, do you really want to find out? And then Gunther can come out the next week. You're going to shove me? You're going to shove the champion? I challenge you to a match. And not only that, I'm challenging you for my championship. Let the champion make the challenge, as opposed to Goldberg just coming out and saying, I'm getting a title shot.
Yeah. I mean, that would work. Agree. I mean, at least it would have kept some credibility for Gunther.
Well, I don't think Gunther lost any credibility in this feud. He did what he was supposed to. My biggest issue with the build is what Brian said, but also the spacing. So they did it in Bad Blood last year in Atlanta. That was where this all kicked off at. Mm-hmm. And then we don't get anything for over a year, I think.
Well, they didn't even bring that back up. Like,
they didn't in Goldberg's interview with Michael Cole. They did. The problem is in the promos they did. Yeah. Because that's how they got Goldberg's son Gage involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even then, look, Son didn't actually do anything. He just jumped the barricade, and that was it, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure. Like, he didn't actually get involved in like.
Well, he was pulled over the barricade.
Oh, was it? I thought he jumped over. Am I just?
No, he was pulled over by Gunther at one point.
See, because I thought he Gunther pushed him or something, or slapped or something, and then he jumped over.
He pushed him, and then Goldberg hopped over the thing.
Oh, okay.
I just saw the clip of the GIF.
Okay, my mistake.
Yeah, guys, I swear, didn't he jump over? Am I just remembering things differently?
Oh,
yeah.
Can you believe me?
I think there was a shoving match afterwards, but.
Because I remember security went over to him to stop him from interacting Gunther, and Gunther was just laughing.
Well, that was the beginning of Goldberg's comeback, leading into the finish.
Yeah, it took over a year to get there. It was like Taker's entrance at Mania. That's how fucking long it was.
I still believe this should have been a Falls Count Anywhere match, or
Yeah.
It's
irrelevant. That doesn't fit Gunther's character if you think about it, though. It doesn't fit Goldberg or Gunther's character. So the meme going around right now is Goldberg laughing off Gunther's chops, and he went on Ari Hawani's show today and was basically like, not whining, but kind of complaining about the fact that he was downtrodden that it didn't happen at a PLE. And I'm like,
that was your choice.
It happened in your hometown. Most people would kill for that.
Goldberg could have, held out for a PLE if that's what he really wanted. Like,
yeah,
or he could have got nothing. Like, you get to be in the main event for a world championship match that you really didn't earn.
I think he wanted in his hometown and then a pay per view. I think that's what he kind of wanted.
There's a lot of better matches that I think we all would have rather had seen, and I think there's better things to do with Gunther's title reign than have them wrestle.
Do you know what? I personally feel like Gunther should have beat him in like under like 90 seconds, like they did with his streak. Like that's how his streak began, beating an opponent under like 5 minutes, and that's how Gunther beats Gunther.
Yeah, the problem is like that doing that can be seen as disrespectful to the person's fans. At least when it comes to a retirement match like that. The retirement speech afterwards being cut off, 30 seconds in, was mildly funny. He kind of hinted at in his interview that it was on purpose.
I have to bring this up because I actually thought this was gold. And I haven't seen anybody else talk about this. Okay. Did anybody else catch what other former WCW champion was in the ring when he was giving that speech?
No,
I don't think I didn't watch the speech live.
DDP. Diamond Dallas Page was in the ring with Goldberg. He was one of the people in the background when Goldberg is giving the speech. If you want to find a picture of it real quick, we can. But what I find so funny about that is going back in history, Goldberg wrestled DDP on pay-per-view historically at Halloween Havoc, and the thing is that pay-per-view, the finish of that got cut off, and the match wasn't aired, got cut off like a minute in because the pay-per-view time had gone over because Hogan and Warrior were going for so long.
And then it was played on Nitro, and that was the last big pop of ratings WCW had before anything else. And to its unfortunate demise.
But yeah, I just thought it was kind of appropriate that after
Bill Goldberg
after the match to have it cut off with DDP in the ring. I thought there was some irony to that. I almost thought it might be a rib.
That's what he was alluding to. That's what he was alluding to.
I have to ask, what did you type into the AI to create that?
I didn't. I just found it.
Oh, okay. I thought you created it. I was like, oh, that's
yeah,
funny.
DDP's right there. Ernest Cat Miller was backstage. Some of Bill's extended family and friends.
I feel like there's not a lot of WCW legends for Goldberg. Like, it's like they don't want to be there for him. I don't know why. Like,
apparently, there's a limit of 10 images per to be shared. Interesting.
Well, that's weird.
That is lame. All right. Well,
okay, look.
I guess
Daniel, I know that you worked really hard all week on a story for us.
yes.
This House of Oba
Yes.
story. And I know you're really excited to share that with us.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think we've just about hit the end of time tonight. It has been a really fun time with you guys here tonight, but it is 11:15. We've been going for a little over an hour and a half, and I think we're just we're not going to have time for that tonight. We'll have to push that off. We'll have to push that off for another time. But
wait. Before we go, though, we need to tell them about the next 4 opponents for the tournament.
No, because it's I'm gonna post the ones from last week that I forgot to post this week.
I thought
so it's Booker T versus Kerry Von Erich. Booker T versus Kerry Von Erich. British Bulldog versus Seth Rollins. Chris Jericho versus Triple H, and Macho Man Randy Savage versus Chris Benoit.
All right, so everybody's going to have to go and place their votes on those. We'll have results next week, and until then,
can we tell the story next week?
We'll see if we have time.
All right. Well, make sure, as always, you go to duelingguard.com, enter the code SOG for 5% off all your orders, and we'll see you guys around.
See ya.
Night, guys.
Good night.